to you? Okay, everyone, please listen here carefully. I want to teach you how to use this thing. Yeah, listen carefully. You have a unit circle. If the angle is 0, listen carefully. If the angle is 0 radian, then sin 0 will be equal to 0, cos 0 will be equal to 1, because the coordinate of this point is 1, 0. If the angle is pi by 2, sin of the angle pi by 2 is equal to 1. Cos of the angle pi by 2 is equal to 0. So which means that, okay, let me finish up this one. Okay, this is -1, 0. So when the angle turns from here to here, the size of the angle is 3 pi by 2. So I have sin 3 pi by 2. This is 0, -1. Why no one corrected me? Sin 3 pi by 2 is equal to -1. Cos the angle 3 pi by 2 is equal to 0. So now, if I give you a mathematical equation, I say cos of an angle. This angle can be in any form. I can say it is 1/3 x plus pi by 4. So this whole thing is what I refer it as an angle equal to 0. So therefore, the size of this angle can be equal to pi by 2. That is one situation. So from here, I work out the x. Or the angle that is 1/3 x over pi by 4 can also be 3 pi by 2. That is what it means. And it can go on. Or this angle 1/3 x plus pi by 4 can be equal to, come back to here, pi by 2 plus 2 pi. This is the next round. This means next round. So when you talk about trigo, you must have this in mind. X is not your angle. X is part of the angle. Whatever in the cos, sin, and tangent, inside that whole thing is considered as the angle. Take note of that. 1/3 x plus pi over 4 is considered as the angle. Do you get me? Hello? So you have to write down step by step, then you get the answer. Those come from Chinese independent school. Your teacher will give you a formula. If you want to follow that formula, you make sure you know how to use the formula. They got don't know plus and minus and so on and so forth, then they work it out. But I'm not going to. This one, you work it out. So how to work out this part? Listen here carefully. If I want to work out this part, what is x? What I will do is, I will just forget about the pi. I will type into my calculator half minus 1/4. Okay, after that, I times 3. Are you clear? So I just key in like that. So what your calculator give you, you change it into fraction. Then after that, you times pi. That's it. Then you will get what is your value of x. So all the calculation, you write down properly, all the calculation can be done using your calculator. You must know how to use your calculator to help you to work. If everything you want to calculate manually during the exam, you definitely cannot finish and you get very tense up. Hello? Do you get me? Like this case, I want to know my x, correct? So first of all, I will key into my calculator 3/2 minus 1/4. After that, I times 3. So I get that, then I times pi, I got the answer. Then after that, I times pi. Then I can just straight away write down the answer. Are you clear? Okay. So can I give you a bit more time to settle the other part? Then only I show the whole thing. Okay, good. So please remember, whatever in the sin, cos, and tangent, that whole thing is considered as the angle. The angle follow this. I got another one. I don't want to introduce first because so that you get the hang of this one first, then only we get into another one. Hello? Are you clear? Okay, good. Thank you. Okay. Whatever you are there, you just listen. Okay. We have the function fx. Don't interrupt me unless I say any question, then you interrupt. You let me flow the whole thing. Fx is equal to 3 sin 1/3 x plus pi by 4 minus 2. Okay. Every time you want to find the range when the function involves sin and cos. Dixon, please. When you want to find the range, that means the value of y or the fx, you always start with the true facts about sin and cos. Sin of a value of an angle, highest ego will be 1, lowest ego will be -1. So 3 times of this sin of an angle, highest will be 3, lowest will be -3. So for fx, because you take away 2, so 3 take away 2, I got 1. -3 take away 2, I got -5. So I'm done with my range. So that is about sin and cos. You know the range. So in this case, if I plot the graph, okay, so now the graph, you plot, you key in the function, you go to the window, set 0 and 20, go zoom fit. So the calculator will come out. You find the starting point. And you find the ending point. So the starting point is 0, 0.121. Okay, so the highest will be 1. And you got this stationary point. Okay, I think my 1 is too high. After that, I can't draw my -5. Okay, so highest is 1, and it happened at 2.56. Correct? So I will mark down the point. 2.56, and 1. Okay, then the lowest, if here is 2, is around 11 and it's -5. So it's around here. Okay, 11.8, -5. So the graph roughly go like that. Okay, so you see my graph is not nice, huh? It should be, the way you draw cos and sin graph here should be a bit flat. Okay, then here a bit round, then you go, then here you go like that, then you go up. Okay, then at 20 is around 0.761. So that is how you sketch the graph. You get me? Never draw the shape first. Mark down the point first, then draw the shape. Try. So this is your y equal to fx graph. So you know pretty well that you have 2 turning points. And if you look carefully, there are 2 inflection points here also. Oh, sorry. There are 2 inflection points, which is around here and here. See? That's why I asked you to sketch the graph first. So you know what to expect in part C. Okay, but part C, I purposely put it as using calculus. Okay, now. And I told you already, this is a very important thing that you have to know. Yeah. Okay. So now I'm going to go to part C. Okay, for part C, part 1, I got my fx as 3 sin 1/3 x plus pi by 4 minus 2. So my f prime x will be equal to, integrate sin, you get cos. Copy down the angle. Time by the derivative of the angle, that is 1/3. Derivative for 2, rate of change of 2 is 0. I purposely write down that. So I got cos 1/3 the angle. Okay, so now for stationary point, I equate this equal to 0. So whenever I do this, I straight away, whenever I see 0 or 1 or -1, I straight away refer to this. And I remind myself that x represent cos, x coordinate represent cos, y coordinate represent sin. And these are the size of the angle. These are the size of the angle I'm referring to. And these are their value of cos. And this is their value of sin. So I don't need calculator at all. Okay, so I straight away write down my angle 1/3 x plus pi by 4 is equal to pi by 2. This is my first situation. So from here, I get my x. So take out your calculator and start to calculate. Take half. Minus 1/4. answer times 3. So the fraction will be 3 over 4. Am I right? So the x will be 3 over 4 pi. Are you clear? Hello? Sit down and listen. So, or the next one, the size of this angle, because cos is 0, so it can be this. 3 pi by 2. So take out your calculator and count again. Because if the question wants exact value, you get it from your calculator, you will know. Okay. So this value is still less than, so you take out your calculator, 3 divided by 2, take away 1 divided by 4, answer times 3. Change it to fraction, go to max fraction. So you got 15 pi by 4. Or 1/3, the angle can be equal to second round plus 2 pi. So you got your x here. Okay, so you take half plus 2 minus 1/4, then the whole thing times 3. Go to fraction, you got 27 over 4 pi. This is more than 20. Correct? So this is not the solution. So you only have 2 stationary points. Correct? So you take this angle, you substitute into your fx. Or if you don't want, you can just say, so therefore, 3 over 4 pi and 1 is the local max. 15 pi over 4 and -5 is the local mean. And in this case, it is also the global, if you refer back to the graph. So you see how I work on that? This is very important. You get me? Okay, so I'm going to go to the second part. So, can I go to the second part? C, second part. So my f prime x is equal to cos 1/3 x plus pi by 4. Never mind, I record down, you can view again. 1/3, okay, so you differentiate cos, what do you get? You got negative sin. Write down the angle. Time by the derivative of the angle. So to get the inflection point, you put this equal to 0. You know that 1/3 cannot be 0. So the only thing that can be 0 will be here. Am I right? So you cannot keep depending on the calculator, please. So therefore, sin of this angle must be 0 in order for f double prime x equal to 0. So from here, we refer back to here again. Right? So I have my 1/3 x plus pi by 4 equal to 0. So 1/3 x equal to negative pi by 4. So this one not the solution. I don't have to work out anymore. Why? Because x must be greater than 0. Am I right? Okay, so it can also come to here. So the angle is pi. So 1/3 x plus pi by 4 equal to pi. So now take out your calculator and work out your x. Take out 1 minus 1 divided by 4. Then you times 3. So you got, so I don't use manual calculation at all. 9 pi by 4. Okay. So 9 pi by 4, you get the approximate value. Okay. So now I go the second round. 1/3 x plus pi by 4. The angle is equal to 0 plus 2 pi. That is the second, starting of the second round. So that's why my x equal to, calculate. Do you get me? So you just have to do it step by step. You don't try to jump step. So you get the inflection point, you put into your graphic calculator. You go to the value. You key in the value. 9 pi divided by 4. Okay. So I'm going to go back to my that one. Graph. Okay. So this will be your 7.06 and -2. And here I can tell you what is the answer without working out. Because it's a so you add 2 pi to this one, to this value. You add pi to this value. Yeah. So, and it also is -2. Okay, so I go back to that one and show it to you first. Sorry. Okay, so my x will be equal to, what is the x here? Anyone calculated? Tell me. 21 pi by 4. So if I go to 21, hold on. 21 pi divided by 4. Okay, so I got it on the graph here. I got here as 16.5. And it's -2. So actually for trigo, correct? This is the axis of symmetry. You see, 1 plus -5 divided by 2. You got -2. So the inflection point always happen at the equilibrium point, but that one you don't have to go and memorize. If you are good in trigo, then you can. Are you okay? So now I'm going to go into the part D is increasing with increasing rate. Look, when you talk about increasing with increasing rate, it have to be from here to here. This part is increasing with increasing rate. Am I right? So you go back to your graph. So part D, the answer is x between 11.8 and 16.5. Go back to the graph. Decreasing with increasing rate. Decreasing with increasing rate. It have to be this part, going down. So part 2, your x is between 2.56 and 7.06. See or not? So I tell you, trigo is something that is very tedious. There's a lot of things you must have it in hand in order to be able to do well. So it's not a matter of how smart are you. Because trigo have its own set of rules. You just have to follow the basic and work on that. A lot of things calculator cannot help you to do for trigo because you go in cycle. Your calculator can't cycle for you. You have to put in an effort and pedal. Correct? So please take note of that. Are you okay? So don't be too dependent on your calculator to find the size of the angle. You have to remember there's another one part. I will show it later to you. One thing at a time. If I dump everything to you for trigo, you go math first. I go math first before you go math.